Howdy! It's been a hot second since you've seen my face. And as such, I just wanted to pop in real quick, say, I got busy with my job. I ended up getting a new job shortly after I ended up trying to do booktube. Got busy with that, got busy with schoolwork, but now I have time, and as such, I'm going to edit the video that I've had for a while. I'm gonna make the thumbnail. The video, of course, is this one. I'm just adding this on to the beginning of it. And then I'm going to record in batches some other videos that I've had notes written up for a while. Some of these are going to be actually booktube content, you know, that's about books. Some of these will, however, be about movies, because I work at a movie theater, and as such, my movie viewing experience has been expanded because I've had the opportunity to see more movies and everything. So I hope that's alright. Just wanted to explain everything. Hopefully I can get back onto actually having booktube content released. I'm gonna try and upload like once a week instead of like, you know, uploading them all at one time or something. But we'll find out. We'll see. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, thank you. Bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my little corner of booktube. My name is Jaren, and this is actually the second time I'm recording this video because the last one was like 40 minutes long. My phone literally stopped the recording on its own because it was too large of a file, so I'm gonna try and go through this faster because I feel like I did ramble. So first and foremost, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to be talking about Nightschool, the Weirn Books, which is an OEL manga by Svetlana Chmakova. OEL means Original English Language. So I'm just gonna show you the cover art because I think it's really pretty, and that's all the reason you need. And I will be doing a non-spoiler section, then I will go into a couple spoilers just so I can talk about some things that I really liked in the series, and then I will go into my theory. I'm going to try and keep everything much shorter than I did originally. I was going to go through and show you different pictures of certain character designs and everything, but I think I'm not gonna do that just to save time. So, first and foremost, what is Nightschool about? Nightschool is about a girl named Alexius Trevani who has been homeschooled for quite some time now by her older sister Sarah. They are both Weirns, from what I understand, though we never see Sarah's astral, something I just realized. And Sarah has started a new job as the local night school's night keeper. So a night school is a school for creatures of the night like vampires, witches, werewolves, demons, etc., to attend not only regular everyday classes like calculus, but also other classes like what was the one they gave? Spellcasting. That's not actually, I think, a name, but whatever. And the night keeper is the person who just keeps watch of everything, makes sure that nothing in the school is getting destroyed, because night school takes place in an actual real life school. And thus, if anything gets damaged, they've got to repair it so that the day school and the day keeper don't have to deal with the repercussions. Well, Sarah goes missing while at work, and Alex is the only person who can remember her. So she goes to the school to see what happens, and she runs into Ronnie and her two friends, and finds out that Ronnie also remembers her sister. And so that's the main plot. There's also this other plot that I don't want to call the B plot, but I'm going to call the B plot, where you're following a group of hunters, which are obviously people who hunt monsters. And a small group of them was attacked by Alex, or by something using Alex's body. And they are incapacitated for whatever reason, and so they're trying to find out what happened and hunt her down and just fix everything. And all this culminates together into a pretty big plot. It's pretty cool. So, I really like this series. I think it is very good. I like the art style, I like the story, I like the world, I like the characters. But I definitely can understand how a lot of people would find it lackluster. First and foremost, there are a lot of characters that do not undergo much character development. Ronnie and Alex and some of the more major players in the Hunter group go through some character development, at least a little bit of it, but the majority of characters don't. For example, Remy and Scion, Ronnie's friends, remain pretty static throughout the entire series. So does Rochelle, Ronnie's sister. So does Sarah, Alex's sister, and Damon, who's the teacher for the Hunters, and so on and so forth. There's a significantly larger list of those who don't go through character development than those who do. And that's a very understandable criticism because, on the one hand, this takes place over the span of no more than a week. But on the other hand, considering how, the major things that happen, there should be more character development than there is. And for there to be so many static characters, I think is a bit of a disservice to Svetlana, because I feel like there was room for, at least a little bit of character development that wasn't taken advantage of. One other thing that I can definitely understand is the plot of these 4 novels, 4 volumes, is very isolated. You are dropped into a world you know nothing about, and then you learn through some exposition that's pretty well weaved in, considering everything, what's going on. And then the second that the plot is over, you're dropped out of it. And it's this very isolated chunk in time. And it feels like there's so many things that are going on in the periphery of all this that it would be nice to have some of that instead of just, oh, here we are, Sarah's off to work, and oh, we found the bad guy, he's getting his due diligence at the end. I can see how people would struggle to feel much attachment to the characters because you don't get to see much about who they are and why they are the way they are until, book 4. With Alex, you get hints and everything, but then you blatantly get told, why eventually, which it's done well, so no one can bitch. And then Ronnie, you kind of find out. But you just kind of have to, if you don't like Alex or you don't like Ronnie, you just kind of have to sit there and suffer with their characterizations with no explanation as to why they are the way they are until you finally get that explanation. And the world building, while I think it is very fleshed out and completed for what was necessary, does lack some minute details, and there are some questions that are still raised. We see Remy who is a demon, and we see all these we see Scion and Ronnie and Alex who are all Weirns who have astrals. Well, Weirns are a type of witch. What are the other types of witches? We see Remy and we see Mrs. Murray and we see, some other demons, but some of them have horns while others don't. Some of these are very clearly supposed to be demons, but they don't look like the established type of demon we've seen. So are there different types of demons as well? There's questions like that, but I don't think that those questions necessarily bog down the world building, because those are some very minute things that you don't need to know the answer to right now. But there are some other things that definitely kind of might come into question that might bog it down a little. Despite all that, however, like I said, I like it. Some of the things that I really like. The character design. Holy shit, the character design. I'm just gonna show you the characters on the first 2 volumes. Actually, no, I'll show you the characters on all 4 again. So this is Alex. She's the main character. Her having white hair is actually, like, explained. It's not just because she's funky. So these are Ronnie, Remy, and Scion. Remy's the demon. She and her are both, they are both, her and her, they're both Weirns. Also, Svetlana Chmakova kind of slaps when it comes to drawing, like, afro hair. I'm very, like, she actually does a pretty good job texturing it. And, you know, there's a couple of different characters who have some more black hairstyles, and that's really cool. I'm glad she didn't just draw a black character with straight black hair. I'm glad that she actually, like, went for it and did a genuinely, like, good design. So then we have 10 up here. Teresa, and then Cassidy. They're all hunters. That wolf is, I guess, just there for drama. And then we have No, who is a hunter. Her hair is actually, I believe, like a dark brown or something along those lines. Normally. Then we have Marina, who's a seer. Damon, who is the teacher for the hunters. And then Mr. Roy, who is a teacher at the night school. So, you know, like, that's just an overview of a lot of the characters in the series. And those are some pretty varied designs. They're pretty nice. There are also a lot of designs for some of the more minor characters, especially those that are in classes with the main characters that you'll occasionally see in those scenes, that are also really varied and are really cool. And I like them a lot. I like just seeing them. And, you know, it allows you to kind of make up your own rules of, like, what exactly night things are, and, you know, what those creatures are, what those kids are. So I really like the designs. And now I'm going to be getting into some more spoiler points. So if I have convinced you to read this series for whatever reason, and you don't want any spoilers, obviously I would just click off. I may put something for theory or whatever in, like, a comment below or something. Like, if you wanted to skip ahead to my theory on what went on with night school, I might leave a timestamp in a comment or something. I don't know. First thing I want to talk about, the parallels between Ronnie and Alex. So Ronnie and Alex both have sisters. Alex's sister is older than her. Ronnie's sister is younger than her. And they both have to act the way that they do because of their sisters, quote unquote. So Alex has a curse. It is the Naren Hex, which is an Elden hate curse. And I'm not going to spoil why it was placed on her, but it's the reason she has white hair. And it essentially makes it impossible for her to say something like, I love you, or I like pasta, or show really any kind of affection towards something without that person or thing getting damaged or hurt. So this curse helps explain why Alex is so very distant, why she says I hate you to Sarah's I love you, why she seems so hesitant to show that she cares about literally anything. And it also kind of helps explain why she is so hell-bent on getting Sarah back, because you know, she feels so much guilt about this curse already, and if she feels that she caused Sarah's disappearance, you know, that would really suck, so she wants to try and make things right. Ronnie, on the other hand, has an illness. So, apparently, Ronnie and Rochelle's family is a fairly old magical bloodline, and as such, there is a rare illness that can be found in bloodlines like that, where when there are two siblings, one of these siblings, I believe the older one typically, will experience severe pain whenever something specific happens to the younger sibling. I want to say that it's that general. In the context of the manga, it is whenever Rochelle cries, Ronnie experiences excruciating, extreme pain that debilitates her. And as such, Rochelle tries to not cry that often. And Ronnie tries to keep anyone who might make her cry away from her. And so that also helps explain Ronnie's kind of bad bitch behavior, why she tells Alex to stay away from her sister, and it explains why Rochelle is always trying to just be this happy, smiley person, because she doesn't want her sister to suffer. And I like the parallels between that. I like the comparison of the two characters, because I like Ronnie and Alex a lot. And I just think the curses do a good job of not only giving some backstory, but also helping you understand the characters' motivations for their behavior. I also just like that the details, there's enough detail for you to be like, okay, you know, that sounds like an actual curse, but it's not so utterly detailed that you're like, whoa there. It's not like the curse that Amarantha, I've never read ACOTAR, so this is just a joke I'm making based off of largely Cindy's video on it. But it's not like the curse Amarantha put on the fairies. Tamlin, was he the only? I don't even fucking know who got affected by it. It's not like that curse where it's just so specific that you're like, what the fuck? Huh? There's a lot of detail, but they're not so many details that you're like, big yikes. Also, why is this shoulder drooping? Like, I have to, like, consciously lift my shoulder. It's either because my posture is bad, my posture is uneven right now, or I don't know. Anyway. Next, the Night Lord conspiracy. Oh my god. I completely forgot this happened, and I'm probably gonna completely forget by the next time that I read this series. Damon, the teacher of the hunters, is a Night Lord. And, like, you're not told that right away. Actually, you're just, like, there are people who theorize it and who are like, would he be a Night Lord? And someone's like, there's no fucking way he's a Night Lord. He's a hunter. Which, like, that makes a lot of sense. Night Lords are literally, like, the top dogs of the night things. Why the fuck would they... Why would one of them join the hunters? But then you see him as a Night Lord, working with two other Night Lords to help in the final battle of the series. And it's so good. I don't know. I really liked it. I just thought the conspiracy was, like, really cool. And then... So I knew that he was in, like, the final battle kind of thing, but I couldn't remember if he was actually a Night Lord and if he was just, like, a really strong hunter or some shit. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like, huh? It was really good. I don't know. The action climax is just really pretty to look at. There's only a couple pages where there's actually, like, some very dynamic fighting going on. But it's just really pretty because there's a lot of swirling wind and just a lot of things that makes it feel like this is an actual, like, magical battle. And the semi-transparent, like, hood cloaks over the three Soren is just really nice, all in all. But the one thing that I really want to talk about is these blank pages that were used. So Twilight did something kind of similar, I guess you could say. in New Moon, but I'm just gonna show you. So this is the last page of the battle. That is the next page. That is the next page. That is the next page. Ah! And that is the next page. I really like that. I think it's a really good way of doing some simple visual storytelling. Obviously, if you don't know like what is going on, then you won't understand like why that's visual storytelling. But it's a nice bit of visual storytelling. It's pretty. I literally wrote down that it's cinematic fucking poetry because I just thought it was really pretty and that it told the story really well. So I like it a lot. I think it's really good. And Twilight did something similar in New Moon because there are those couple blank pages that's just plain white with then just like the month name on it. That's supposed to represent the fact that Bella's life is just passing by and that she's not really experiencing life without Edward. And whether or not you think that she earned that, like Stephenie Meyer earned something like that from the buildup of their relationship or not, it's really good. I think it's a very pretty thing. I like seeing that kind of thing in books, and I want to see more like that. Use the space, use pages, you know, even if it's a full like novel, you can still do some visual storytelling sometimes, and I think that we should all try to do that every once in a while. If we can find the opportunity, do it. It's really cool. And then the last thing I wrote is when Alex runs up to Sarah, like after everything's all fixed up, and she hugs her, I like cried. I didn't cry very much, but I cried. It's like when I cried about Colm and Jesper Fahey's relationship in Crooked Kingdom, which I'm not done with Crooked Kingdom, but I am, I think, not fully halfway, but I'm somewhere along that line. I'm closing in on halfway. Like I cried over that. I was like crying for like a while because I'm just like I love Colm Fahey. I loved him so much, and I had to like go on the wiki to make sure nothing happened to him because I was like, you kill Colm Fahey, I'm gonna have to literally fist fight you, Leigh Bardugo. I was like so afraid that something was gonna happen to him just because why would we allow characters to feel happiness? But like I was crying intermittently for quite a few pages, and I actually like had to stop what I was doing and just sit there and let the crying happen. While as with this, yes, I was crying, but I was able to like stop and recollect myself and just move on. Let's get into the theory. I believe that the first 4 volumes of Nightschool, the Weirn Books, were supposed to be the first arc of a longer running series. Why do I believe this? Because while yes, the story is complete, there is so much more going on in the world of Nightschool that we don't get to see. There's way too much lore that was built up, and there's a lot of potential for an overarching plot with the Solrem and trying to find them and track them down and actually destroy them for good and everything. You know, there's a lot of potential for it. And also, the fact that it's Nightschool colon the Weirn Books tells me that the Weirn Books was supposed to be like one arc. You know, maybe the second arc would be the Vampire Books, and it would be about a vampire. Maybe it would be about Nicholas, or maybe it'd be about a completely different vampire, and we would follow them. But the overarching plot with the Solrem and then the underplot of the Hunters underplot would also exist in there. Maybe it wouldn't. I don't know. But like literally, the end of the series, like the end for now I know that sometimes, like, people will do that just to, like, be a cock tease. A literary cock tease. But I just feel like there's so much that could have been turned into a longer running series that's not just like a little ploy. It feels genuine. And the thing is, I feel like Nightschool had the potential to actually get that kind of length out of the manga. Because when the first volume came out, it came out in April of 2009. I believe the manga started to serialize in 2008 with Yen Press in their magazine. While the first volume of manga was met with quite a bit of constructive criticism, it was met with much more positive it was still met with a lot of positive reception, and it continued to get more positive reception as the volumes continued. Not only that, Nightschool was the 25th top performing manga in 2009 and was one of Yen Press's top performing mangas of the year as well. So what brought it down? You know? There's never been any talks about an anime from what I understand. The fandom is majorly tiny. I'm trying to think of how I can describe that. The fandom is small as hell and doesn't really exist. For example, the only place you can find Nightschool fanfic is fanfiction.net. That tells the story for me. The second arc never actually happened, if that was an actual thing, so the only explanations I can think of is either Nightschool got beat out by other properties, and thus Yen Press was not as interested, or Svetlana wanted to stop. You know, she may have wanted to continue, but considering she doesn't really do OEL manga anymore and largely focuses on graphic novels, from what I've been able to see, maybe she just decided she was done with manga. So I did a little more digging, and I found some of the other top performing properties of Yen Press in 2009. And the other two that I was able to find was The Melancholy of Haruki Suzumiya, which I've heard of before and I know has an anime, and Yotsuba, which I'm pretty sure I've heard of, and I wouldn't be surprised if it also has an anime. These were much higher on that top 25 list of properties of manga in 2009. I also found some Yen Press newsletters from 2009 about properties they had purchased and gotten the rights to. They got the rights to manga adaptations for Gossip Girl, Maximum Ride, and Twilight, as well as Spice and Wolf, which is pretty popular, has an anime adaptation, and then Yen Press's Golden Child, as far as I am concerned, and my favorite manga, or one of, Black Butler by Yana Tobaso. Yen Press did not always own the rights to Black Butler. They only acquired those rights in 2009. And they acquired those rights pretty late on in the year, too. So while Black Butler wasn't able to perform spectacularly in 2009, they'd be able to in the following years, particularly in the years when it got incredibly popular, which was probably around 2010, 2011. So, my theory, essentially, is did Black Butler beat out Nightschool in popularity as a top performing property in its first full year with Yen Press? And its spectacular performance pushed Nightschool down so far that when it came time to maybe renewing the series and continuing Nightschool, they were no longer interested. Or did Svetlana Chmakova decide, I liked doing Nightschool and everything, but I just don't want to do manga anymore? Considering the lack of information I could find about performing mangas and what was doing well and what wasn't with Yen Press, I feel like I was able to put together two pretty compelling arguments. Either Svetlana decided to just not do manga anymore, or Yen Press decided that Nightschool wasn't worth the time and money. And I would love to know which one is correct, but I will never find out. Probably, unless I asked Svetlana myself. Which if I was able to interview Svetlana Chmakova about Nightschool, that'd be great. I don't know how to interview people, but that would be cool. So Svetlana, if you ever see this, hit me up on like Twitter or something, so I can get that interview set up. I don't know. Probably have to if you got Discord, we can do a Discord interview. I just need to get a screen recorder. But yeah, so that was my Nightschool the Weirn Books review. I know I probably talked a little fast in this, and I apologize if I did. I just am so nervous that it's gonna be as long as the original recording that I wanted to get through it much faster. I also tried to not dwell on the same details and repeat them over and over and over, because I noticed I was doing that in the first one. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope y'all have a great day, and I hope that y'all are excited for some of my upcoming videos. You don't have to be. The two that I'm going to do. I have two outlines written up. One of them I'm going to keep secret. I have a front back page of paper. I'm going to keep it secret, but I'm very excited to do that one. And the other one is my Wattpad video. Wattpad 2019 bothers me, and here's why. I definitely feel like I might end up adding some information to it. I'm going to try and screenshot the reviews on the website that I read, and not the Wattpad website, but a different website. I'm gonna try and screenshot those reviews, screenshot the bit of the tweet conversation that I read, so I can use those as better descriptions of kind of what's going on. But I'm very excited to do that video because I have a lot of strong feelings about Wattpad, and at this point I need to get them out there. The only reason I have a Wattpad account still is because there are books on there that are really good and that I want to read. That's it. That's the only reason. But with the way that things are changing, I might just end up having to delete the accounts and just, or not delete the account, but maybe just never go back on it ever again. And it's really sad because I think Wattpad had the opportunity to be so good, but its inaction over the years and its very sketchy business practices made it impossible for it to be anything truly good for the writing community as a whole. So there's that one. I also, of course, am going to be doing a video on everything else that I read in 2019. I actually have read 4 books since then. I read 3 poetry books, and then I read another book. I've only read one of the 6 books that I wrote down on my list, so this is my list of all the books I want to read by the end of the year. This, for those who saw the end of my Everything I Read in 2019 video, that is my word count of my current project that I've been working on for literally 7 years at this point. And that I'm continuing to work on, and that I am very proud of. So yeah. Hope y'all have a great day. I hope that the videos that I am going to be making soon are going to be interesting and entertaining. I think they're both going to be pretty entertaining. but I don't follow trends and I don't really care about trends, so I don't actually know if they're going to do well at all. So, bye-bye!